All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to the Nigerian International Youth Conference 2026. In the first section, we had an awesome time with our special guest, Madam Faith Osai Moje. Right now, we have someone else, an astute professional who has done much impact in a particular field that he's going to talk about it. All right, so um, by I will, expect him to actually read out his own success story, his profile. So let's just put our hands together as we welcome Pastor Damola Suarez, COO, Chief Operating Officer of Pastures Limited. You are welcome, sir, to Nigerian International Youth Conference. Today happens to be our World Youth Day, so we are celebrating our youth all over the world, but with special emphasis on Nigerian youth. So welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Steve, and thank you to the entire,
Yeah.
you know, thank you to the entire team who has put this together. I really do appreciate the opportunity, and of course, happy World Youth Day to every young person out there who is doing something, who is building, growing and scaling, something out there, whatever it is, whether you're building a family, whether you're building a business, whether you're building, a career, whatever it is that you're building, just to remind you that you're doing great, and just keep building, and that spotlight you're looking for is on the way. So thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So today's theme is centered on different contests, common aspirations. That's our World Youth Day theme for 2026. And today is going to talk about this particular theme. In the process, he's going to share his own success story to inspire our young ones out there on how he started and where he is now, and ways young people can harness opportunities that exist, in different spheres of influence. And actually, we are also looking at um, more for young persons becoming success stories too. So we hope this will serve as a capacity building um, forum or outlet for our young people to listen and build capacity. Thank you very much, sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you very much, again, Mr. Steve. So looking at
You're
the theme
welcome.
for this year's World Youth Day, different contexts, current common aspirations, and we're going to look at it from a very interesting perspective, in the sense that, I know many times we it's easy to judge success, especially in the area of business, from the perspective of, oh, because this person is from this place, or because this person has this background, or because I have this background, that's why I'm doing XYZ, or why this person is doing this level of exploit, or this is not doing this level of exploit is because of this context. Yeah, as much as environment, head starts, in life generally matters, but the truth is that we all have a head start. We all have a current starting point, which happens to be the context, the environment, where we are beginning to build from. And we'll try to make this as simple and as basic as possible, so that we can get all of the necessary perspective. But before we go on, just to speak a bit about some context, to myself also. Before now, I of course schooled in. I've had the opportunity of schooling, in Nigeria. I'm having a first degree in psychology, and then going on to doing a master's in around the same field, social psychology. So I've grown to, understudying people and all of that. But when I was going to pivot, of course, in terms of picking a career path, I decided to look at, okay, considering the career path that I am or where I'm serving, what necessary foundation do I need to build, and where do I need to, run in a long term. And that inspired them choosing an area that is very interesting, the agri space. And of course, for me to have built, both in terms of education and also in terms of career, pursuing, agri agribusiness, and doing business in the last few years within this space as well. So, looking at what we are talking about today, how I see this, you know, as I mentioned here, our starting point, irrespective of where you are, whether, and every one of us have a context. We have either a family background, we have an economy, in terms of your country or your geopolitical region, your level of access, your level of network, and even an industry, either your background in terms of even what you studied in school or your natural giftings. Now, again, when we talk about context, also talks about your natural giftings, your ability, your inherent capacities and your capabilities. Context talks about even your personality. Context talks about your, social upbringing. All of this, we may differ, as young people across these different lines, whether, in terms of growing up, even our access to, capital and connections, but one thing is common. There is an underlining common destination and rhythm. Every young person wants to grow. So something that is irrespective of the background, irrespective of the context, irrespective of the environment where we find ourselves, these are the things that are common, amongst most of us, or something that is universal. So, what does context means here? It means that context basically talks about where we differ, but in as much as we differ across different lines, career lines, business lines, country lines, religious lines, even sometimes our values as well. But so one place that we converge at is around our aspiration. Every young person wants to grow. Every young person wants to matter. Every young person wants to, be able to provide, for him or herself and intermediate environment. Every young person wants to, truly leave something behind, that it can call a legacy. So we're going to be looking around, that's dignity, true work, growth and mastery, providing for the families, making an impact that outlives us. These are universal ideologies, these are universal principles. So irrespective of whether whatever color, whatever race, whatever social class, everyone wants to have a sense of dignity through work, wants to grow and, have mastery of a skill, providing for their family, making an impact in the lives of, people around them, and being able to leave, a legacy. And I believe so much that business enterprise is one of the most honest bridges. Whatever career path you choose, whatever business line you choose, whatever it's legal, whatever it's ethical, and whatever aligns, with your values and your proper values and belief system, in terms of business, in terms of enterprise, in terms of career, is a very good bridge between your context and your aspiration. This serves as a bridging gap between where you find yourself or where you think you're coming from, and also where you're going to. And it always rewards value, not just pedigree, not just so our aspirations are always being rewarded by value. So, when I was discussing with one of the organizers, Steve, I know he kept mentioning, sharing your personal experience. So for me, I'd had to interact across different environment or different, in fact, different environment, different context, different persons, different religious groups across various cities in my course of career. Starting my education, of course, being someone that was being born and brought up in the Lagos environment, and I was to go and serve. NYC was one of the first privilege I had to leave my growing up environment, and I think that was having that shift that between growing up in a very busy environment, the bustling city of Lagos, and then coming to a calm city of and having also worked in Lagos, but coming also to a calm city of Benin City. It has its own, yeah, it has its own challenges, but relatively more quiet, and it gave that level of calmness, and stayed there for a while. And then when I was also going to pursue, pursue further my entrepreneurial journey, that's in place of starting or joining to co-found pastures, we had to, after all of our analysis and all that, decided to also move to Port Harcourt. So I've had the privilege of interacting with people from all of these different places, and one thing is sure: in every environment, in every society, there are opportunities, irrespective of where you find yourself, whether you're in the south, whether you're in the north, whether you're in the east. It's a function of how do you see your context, how do you see your environment. Every time you reflect on where you are from, every time you reflect from your current standing point, every of the problem you experience they serve as an opportunity. So it's about how well are you able to open your mind, how well are you able to broaden your mind, to see the opportunities even in those contexts, even in those challenges or those complaints you have now. So the constant across every context for me is a decision to serve, and these are principles that I hold dearly in every context I find myself, in every environment, in every situation. One of the things I tell myself is that I'm committed to serving my gifts to this environment, to this community, to this place, to these people. And in service, I always say that we grow through service. The way up is down. As you give in service, opportunities open up to you. You serve your customers, you serve the relationships that we have. So you must grow with a mindset of service, a mindset of how can I, so every time you think in terms of how can I give rather than receive. It's easy for us to and I like a part of the Bible that says, it's always more blessed to give than to receive. So in the place of wanting to give yourself, wanting to give your skills, wanting to give value to that society or that environment you find yourself, the truth is that giving always have a way of rewarding, and that's why it says that it's more blessed always to give than to receive. So second thing again, that can be constant across every context is the ability to learn, so I found that in every opportunity, in every context, that I found myself, is also how can I, what can I learn from this environment? What can I learn from this situation? What can I learn from these people? What can I learn from every situation, every circumstance, every opportunity I find myself? So you see, beyond service, you also give yourself to learning, you also give yourself to growing, you also give yourself to becoming a better version of you. And secondly is that how can I deliver the best of myself? How can I deliver excellently well wherever I was planted? I've also seen that one of the easiest way to, to grow or to be recognized or to shine your light is in the midst of chaos. When things are stable, people don't look for light, people don't look for solution where things are calm. People look for solution when there is a problem, when there is chaos, when there is problem, when there is uncertainty, when there is, permit me to use the word calamity, people are looking for who can bring in solution, who can. So it means that every problem, every state of chaos, every state of disequilibrium is an opportunity for you to provide, solution. So when you find yourself in in context or in situation where there is problem, there are issues, things are not going well, it's an opportunity for you to be the light. It's an opportunity for you to be the solution. It's an opportunity for you to create, to create some level of value in that environment or in that context where you find yourself. And in doing that, life rewards you. So wherever you plant, you find yourself planted, deliver excellence. Now, I always like to say, like one of my mentors always tell us that, you would always reap what you sow, not necessarily where you sow. Many times it's easier for us to say, oh, after all, if I do my best, if I do what what would I gain? How does it benefit me? But note that you would always reap what you sow, not necessarily where you sow. So, what different contexts, has taught me. First is that, classroom teaches us, theory. You learn principles. You learn how to, when you're in school, when you're in training conferences like this, like we're having this engagement. So some, for some persons these things sound, it may sound theoretical. It may, some people may say, you are just talking like this because you don't know what I've gone through or what I've been through. You don't know how life has treated me. You don't know how people have done this to me or how situation has hit me left and right. You are just speaking because, you look like you came from a privileged background. I wish we can have a one-on-one so that you can also understand, my own context as well. And so, many times in environment like this, it looks like it's just theoretical. But one of the things I like to say is that whatever principle that no matter how dear you hold those truths, until you put them into practice, you would not see the manifestation in your life. So I like to say that if you want to be trustworthy, means that you need to find situations that put you in a position where you need to exhibit the attitude of being trustworthy. If you want to learn how to, someone says, oh, I have issues, being hardworking, or I'm not able to deliver on tasks, then find, volunteer, give yourself to project, to tasks that needs to force you to learn to be hardworking, to learn to force to be diligent, to learn to force to be committed. These things don't come by speaking or just, after this kind of engagement or listening to this conversation, what matters most is not what you have heard or how exciting this conversation sounds. Or you may say, oh, wow, very powerful presentation, very powerful conversation. What matters most is the decisions you make after now. So it's decisions that make people, not conferences, not sermons, not conversations. Is that from those conversations, what decision are you making from them? So classroom teaches you theory, but what matters most is that what decision are you taking out of those conversations, those teachings, those learning, and how are you putting them into practice? So every problem is first a human problem. So yeah, the non-profit has taught me stewardship. So I've also discovered that in the place of volunteering, so you may say that, oh, I've not had, people have not given me opportunity to do this, to show myself. One of the fastest way to actually get opportunity is just to volunteer. see, whatever it is that you think you know, or whatever discovery you might think you have found, if you have not put yourself out there, it cannot be it cannot be appreciated, it cannot be valued. So you must find a way, whether through volunteering, whether you find someone who is able to pay for it, whatever means, just ensure that those ideas, those concepts, you put them into limelight. Then the farm has taught me patience. Like I said earlier, you become by practicing whatever it is that you want to become, whatever attitude, whatever value, whatever character. Nobody suddenly just wakes up and says that, oh, I'm a man of this kind of value, or I'm a man of this type of value. It's a function of practice, practice, daily practice over time. They find themselves in situations that wants them to compromise on those values, but they rather decide to choose acting appropriately. So you cannot rush a harvest. Time, care, seasons, the same law governs, whether it's crop, whether it's your career, whether it's your company, whatever it is that you are building, seed, time, harvest. It's a principle that governs all of this process. So you need to learn patience. You need to be patient with yourself. You need to give yourself time to grow. You need to celebrate yourself. You need to appreciate yourself. You need to celebrate those little wins, because all of these things compound. Over time, you just suddenly realize and look back and say, oh, see where I've come. See how I have come. Appreciate the daily wins and celebrate yourself daily. So supply chain has also taught me system. Passion moves you, process sustains you. So excellent at scale is built on boring, repeatable discipline. So for you to get mastery at something, you need to learn how to be bored, because sometimes perfection can actually be boring, whereby you are repeating same thing again and again and again and again to gain mastery of it. It's easy for sometimes I tell my daughter, you need to learn how to be bored. We see a lot of young people might engage, and they would just want to be excited. They just want to jump from here to another, and that's why you see sometimes some people get into all manner of vices because they've not learned the ability to maintain routineness. People are looking for things that can, get them excited, things that can, keep the adrenaline. Yeah, I know we're young, we have adrenalines pumping in us, but sometimes just learn to appreciate routine. In fact, mastery and excellence come from repeated practice of activities that will bring you to that place of success. Like said earlier, for you to become good at an act or a particular activity, whatever it is, whether it's value, whether it's principle, you must practice, you must find yourself repeatedly doing it. So context is capital. In business, your context is not your limitation, it's your first market. So wherever you find yourself, whatever the position you are currently, it's a position, it's a head start. We call it head start in psychology, where wherever it is that you find yourself. So your head start and my head start will definitely not be same, or may not be same. But the bottom line is that every one of us have a head start, and you must first appreciate and value that head start, and know that this is a starting point, and this from this position or from this place, I am able to build and scale whatever it is that I'm pursuing quickly. So it's your first market research. Problems are unevenly distributed. Every context has its own friction, and every friction is a hidden invoice waiting for someone to serve it. Proximity is an advantage. You understand your market pain better the closer you are. So don't just feel like, oh, this problem is in my environment, I don't have the right resources. The fact that you are close to that problem means that you have a very strong advantage. solve locally, think globally. Solve locally, but while solving locally, you can also think global. Think global in terms of these solutions that I have. Mind you, I said I'm going to be speaking from a perspective of a business person. Yeah, but this can apply to irrespective of whatever situation you find yourself, or whatever context you want. You can always extrapolate. So think of how can I, while discovering local problems, how can this solution scale globally? How can, so you must always think that whatever, and business positioning is all about modeling. So it means that when you find a solution, you must think of, yeah, while this business mode, while I'm creating while I found this solution, I must be able to structure my business model or my solution model to scale globally, not just locally. So while I test my local environment and it serves as a proof of concept, but is that whatever solution I have should have the ability and the capability to scale beyond my immediate environment. Yes, I may be in one local government in Lagos or in Port Harcourt, but I can move from that local government into serving the entire state, from serving the entire state into serving the entire country, and even serving Africa and, of course, the world at large. So aspirations will definitely travel, farther than our context, our dreams that we have talked about, our values, our solution, our gift. So what we're saying here is that my giftings, my knowledge, my products, my solution has the ability and the capability to travel fast, farther than whatever position I find myself currently. So, sixth principle for a rising generation is start where you are planted, learn faster than life changes. We need to keep ourselves, keep learning tools. I know that currently it looks like even keeping up with some of the tools and technology, it's quite, in fact, it can be a full-time work on its own, but you need to put yourself in a position whereby you are very adaptive, you're dynamic, and there's a level of resilience to adapting quickly to the environment. Now, our environment is changing faster than we have ever had it, or even faster than past generations have had it. So it means that we must ensure that we're very resilient. Our solutions, our businesses, our career, our person. Now, principles are infallible. The process may change, but the principles are constant, they are stable. So how it is being dished, the strategy, the deployment may vary, but the core, which is the value, remains constant. Let your character carry your gift. Serve before you shine. And service is not just about working with someone or serving. No, when I mean serve, I mean that truly and genuinely be concerned about people. Whatever it is that you're doing, how does it impact? Because impact is what brings value. It is the problem you're able to help someone solve that enables them to reward you. Value delivered quietly compounds likely. So build people, not just profit. Anchor your ambition on purpose. Every of this ambition, oh, I want to be this, I want to get this, I want to pursue, every of our aspiration, mind you, context is where you are, aspiration is where you are going to. Context is what you're doing, who you are, your current capabilities, your current potentials, your giftings, and all that, where you are, your position, your current position, while aspiration is where we are going to. So your context may not be like what you like today, but your aspirations are possible. So in your context lies every capacity and resource to achieve your aspiration. You only need to continue to hone that context, build that context, refine it, and see it pushing you to your aspirations. Anchor ambition on purpose. So ensure that all of these aspirations, all of these desires are anchored on genuine purposes. So how do you turn your context into into your story, or turning your context into um, and building it across your aspiration. So number one is that you need to audit your context, list the problems, the gaps, what are the issues, what are the good, what are the positives, what are the negatives. So do a proper SWOT analysis of yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are your threats? So do a proper analysis, of your environment, of your relationship, of your personality, of your skills, and all of that. So like say, man, know thyself. If you don't know thyself, you cannot become thyself. So who am I? Have a full grasp of an understanding of who you are and what your potential, have the opportunity of exploring. So pick one skill to master. So now you've audited yourself, put all of this into a playbook and try to synthesize it. You can use multiple skills to analyze yourself, evaluate yourself, and decide what area do I want to pursue. All you need to break even and become one of the top in that field is just 5 years. So give yourself the next 1 year, 12 months thereabout to learn. So go depth rather than broad. I always encourage go deep rather than just being broad. Yeah, you can be broad enough, but more importantly, go deep on something. So we see find a lot of people who are vast, who are broad, but there is nothing they are depth in. And value compounds in depth. In broadness, you can just get peanuts across. You are doing multiple things, one thing every year, 10 things in 10 years, but one thing for 10 years, value compound. When you start learning that one thing, it looks like, you're not getting the right result, things are coming gradually, it looks slow, it looks boring sometimes, but it compounds, it doesn't add. Broadness, knowing how to do everything adds to you, but knowing something deep brings about multiplication in terms of value to you. Serve someone's need. I talked about, giving yourself, to something valuable. Serve someone, volunteer, intern, apprenticeship. Start small, launch small, whatever it is that you have gone deep on or you're going deep on, launch small. Proof of value beats perfect plan. No matter how fantastic your idea, your plan, and all that looks like, if you have not taken it to the market, if you've not taken that idea, for instance, this no matter how how big, how large or small this conference is now today, if the organizers and the founders had not pushed it out, it would have still been an idea, and it would have just been a fantastic concept on paper. But you see, through different engagement, they are already serving their environment, they are serving their community with their skills, with the potential, with the talent and all that they've thought of. And they will keep getting feedback to refine. Oh, it was an awesome session. This went well. We think you should improve on this. You have opportunity for feedback. But if it remains on paper, it becomes something that it's not valuable. So find mentors and communities. It's a very strong way to go far. You can go as far as the value of your network, the value of your association. So, and again, one of the good ways to get into networks and all that is to find a way to impact people, serve people, give before you're willing to also receive, before you ask. So the right voice will compress your learning curve by years. So I trade, I trade. So as you imagine, as you understand yourself, see the process, you've audited yourself, you understand your strengths, your weakness, your opportunities, your potentials and your threats, then you are able to pick on what is one thing I'm good at, go deep rather than broad on that one thing, then serve that one thing to someone, either through volunteering, through internship, launching something fantastic. Then find mentors, find guide within that field, find people who have done what you're trying to do. It mentorship, community helps you, gives you leverage. It's called leverage. It gives you leverage. It helps you to compound and compress on time. Then iterate in public. Show yourself, show up. Whether you see, you don't need to feel like, and that's one of the things structures does for you. Whether you feel like or you don't feel like, just show up. Life, in fact, I've discovered that life rewards us, or that turning point you are looking for comes most times when you are not even in the mood, when you are not expecting it. But just because you showed up, so you must ensure that whatever it is that you are doing, learn to always show up, whether it's working, whether it's not working. But you have told yourself that every day I'll be at my work post by 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Be there by that time. I close by this time. Be there by that time. People know you that, oh, whatever it is that you say you're going to do, you do it, you deliver, just show up. Oh, you have told yourself, I'm going to be pushing out 2, 3 contents every day. Do it. Whether you are enjoying it, whether it's working or it's not working, just do what you have committed to doing around your vision, around the ideas that you've gotten, around that your aspiration. Ensure you always show up, because in showing up, you see things progressing for you. Your context is where your story starts, it's not where your story ends. Different contexts gave us different starting lines, but the same God-given capacity to dream, to build, to serve. Wherever you are planted today, take root, grow, and bear fruit that feeds others. Thank you. You're muted, Mr. Steve, in case you're speaking.
All right. In one. Um,
Yeah, Mr. Steve, I don't know. I can hear you very well. If you can.
thank you. I really want to say a big thank you to you, sir, for your time, energy you've used to really put us through this awesome training. Um, we hope. All right. So, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, although you're breaking, but yeah, I heard all of the last set of statements you made.
Okay. Is it okay now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's getting better. Go ahead, please.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear
All
you very
right.
well.
I said thank you so much for your time, sir.
Yeah, I heard. Thanks. Thank you
Everything,
for the opportunity to also share and
to
serve.
deliver on this. We are
Yeah,
really, really grateful on behalf of the NGO Youth Connect Nigeria. We want to say, God bless you. Thank you so much for your time, your resources, energy and everything to be here. Thank you so much. By God's grace, we hope to let this on are interested for many so media so that we can. Okay.